Sri Lanka won the toss, put New Zealand into bat, and they landed the first punch. But New Zealand absorbed it very comfortably. They steadied the ship and they've made 168 in their 20 overs. Captain Santner, 47 of 26, key 47 runs. Rachin Ravindra got 32. Tikshana picked up 3 in his 4 and Shamira picked up 3. We're back at Cricbuzz Live. I'm Saiyami Kher. I have got Rohan and Zach with me. Zach, 168, 169 to win. Is this a winning score for New Zealand considering what the pitch was doing?
Well, whether it's a winning score or not, that we'll have to wait and see. Looks enough, I think, looking at how the pitch has played so far. But what New Zealand will be very happy with is the way they've turned things around.
Yeah, absolutely.
90 runs in 15 overs, losing that momentum. The 10 over to 15 over mark was a really a difficult phase for them in this game, but the way they've turned it around, I think you have to say that they will be very, very excited with this total, feeling that that momentum shift, that 15.6 in the last 5,
yes,
78 runs scored. That's huge, and I think that's going to give them a lot of boost in going out there to defend this total. And Sri Lanka will be feeling that disappointment of having done all the hard work to restrict New Zealand, doing all the things right, will be feeling disappointed and demoralized also. And that's what is going to be very important, how they cope with that, to go on to turn things around and chase the total down.
Rohan, exactly what Zach is saying, because Sri Lanka, like I said, they landed the first punch. They got out the 2 openers in the power play who've been in great form.
Yeah.
Then at the 10 over point, they were 75 for 3 in New Zealand.
Yeah.
Those numbers that we saw in the progression, 11 to 15, just 3 runs per over. When have we seen that in T20?
No, I'll tell you what, it's crazy. The ebb and flow of this game is crazy, because in the first 3 overs, New Zealand were 30. And they would look like, they'd get a big score. And then suddenly, from 75 for 2, they were 84 for 6. They lost 3 wickets with the score on 84. 84 for 6, 84 for 5, 84 for 4. They lost wickets. And at that point, it looked like they would not get to about 130.
Yeah.
We were, because of our guessing game, we were all wondering, hey, everyone's guessing game gone wrong. And, they'll get to about 125, 130. So much so that someone said if we get to about 144, 145, that might be a competitive score. So right now as we speak, Sri Lanka will be sitting in that dressing room thinking maybe we've missed an opportunity here. Now we've got to do all the hard work. New Zealand will be the happier of the 2 teams in that dressing room thinking, listen lads, we've got to 168, which on this pitch, from what we've seen of the way the ball was turning, seems to be a good score. And just, again, another point I want to make over here is, when Santner came out to bat, at one stage, he and McConchie were 3 of 11 and 3 of 9. And it's something we spoke about in the pre-match, show that you've got to respect the conditions. They respected the conditions in the sense that they gave themselves a little bit of time to sort of get set, get a feel of the pitch, get a feel of what's happening out there. And then we saw what happened in the last 5 overs. They went at a rate of 15. Now, when you look at this 84 runs, partnership of 47 deliveries, you'd be forgiven if you thought they went all guns blazing right from ball 1. But they didn't.
Absolutely.
It was a really slow start to this partnership. And then once they got their eye in, once they got set, respecting the conditions, they've put on this magnificent sort of total.
Exactly what you're saying, because Zach, we were watching it together. That over of Chamira is when McConchie went for it. He hit those 2 sixes. Do you think that was the turning point? Because Santner followed after him.
I would say Tikshana's over. I think, at that stage, fast bowlers were expected to do their job, but we've seen that, fast bowlers can be under pressure. The conditions were actually suiting the slow bowlers. So I think that Tikshana's over when Santner really took him on. I think that was a big blow. So that's something which really set that platform so strong for them. I think from there they started believing that they could get to a total which is going to be a really good one. But Chamira's over, not so much. Tikshana's over, I think was a big setback for Sri Lanka.
Yeah, when you have a look at that graphic that we just saw, 3 overs for 9 runs, and then the 4th over was for 20 runs.
Yes.
So that tells you what that just has an impact. Because you've seen what the pitch is doing, you've seen how dangerous the spinners have been with the turn.
And the 3 wickets that he's picked up.
And the 3 wickets, 3 for 9, and then suddenly Because what that does, it gives the batters also confidence. Like, okay, listen, we've taken Tikshana for 20 runs in this over. Now, when the fast bowlers come, it should be easier for us to score runs. So, it just, from a psychological point of view, also when you take away the main bowler over there, the one who's been really successful for 20 in that last over, just gives a feeling of confidence, going towards that latter half of the innings.
But does this give an idea of the pitch as well? That, like you said, respect the conditions, but set yourself in before you go for it, Zach?
I think two set batters batting together can make the impact in this format. It's the biggest takeaway. And that's what we've been seeing, and that's why this format is so exciting, because it's so unpredictable. And that's why the importance of someone who is having a good day to make the most of it. I mean, look at how the game has panned out. 5 overs, just 15 runs from the 10 over mark. So 75 at the end of 10 over mark with 3 wickets down. So you say, okay, the game is evenly poised. Sri Lanka will have to really restrict New Zealand at that stage. They have wickets in hand, but not that many. So say 8 wickets or 9 wickets in hand, it's a very strong platform, even though you're a little short on runs. But till then, the game was evenly poised. The next phase was won by Sri Lanka convincingly. Taking those 3 wickets, just giving away 15 runs. What more can you expect? But just one phase, New Zealand winning right now, and everything is changed. So I think that 20 run too many. 5. Even if you're having a tough day, if you are able to do 5 overs, you give away 50 runs. It's still 140 you're talking about.
78
but
in the last 5.
I think 78 is
on
just
this pitch,
too much.
On this pitch. Look, normally if you're playing on certain pitches which are flat, as Shanaka wants them to be, and you go for, with set batters, you can go for, 14, 15 and over. But on this pitch, where we've seen batters find it tough to sort of get that timing, get that sort of, power to go at 15, I mean, well done to New Zealand.
Well, we saw them finish off well because of what Santner and McConchie did. But even up top, Rachin Ravindra got those 32 runs off 22. He was dropped on 25, and Finn Allen got 23. Seifert was dropped as well, but that didn't cost them too much. That middle order there, Zach collapsed. But again, the Rachin 32 of 22 also very crucial.
No, this is tremendous work by both these batters. And I think McConchie also is just going under the radar right now. But he's the one he's taken that charge to the opposition, with those 2 sixes to Chandera. So momentum shift happened there in terms of impact. But Santner just took it to another level, and then the Tikshana's over really changing things around. 47 between these two guys scoring 78. It's just unbelievable stuff.
Well, McConchie has got in for today's game for his off spin, but clearly his runs are going to be very, very handy. He'll come out with the ball as well, because Sri Lankan spinners were looking good, especially Tikshana, until that last over. He picked up 3 very crucial wickets. Velalage as well, we spoke about him, Rohan, in our pre-match show. He picked up that 1 wicket, and in the given circumstances, just 27.
Yeah, look, you have to look at his economy, 6.75. That's perfectly acceptable. And when you have a look at the economies of everyone else, Sri Lanka went for 5.33. Velalage has done really well, to pick up a wicket as well. So look, Tikshana, he'll be wondering what happened, because, like I said, 9 runs in the first 3. And then suddenly you've gone for 20 in that last over. And that's a big momentum shift. It's a huge momentum shift. Not only in the mindset of both teams.
Yes, absolutely.
Because now New Zealand will be thinking 168. Listen, this is an extremely competitive score. So much so that they start as favourites from now on. Sri Lanka will have to bat really well to chase this down. Not to say that Sri Lanka can't do it, but at this stage, at the halfway stage, New Zealand are definitely favourites for this game.
Well, for Sri Lanka, of course, we know it is a do or die, because if they don't win this game, they will crash out of the World Cup. For New Zealand, if they don't win this game, they still have a chance. But this one for Sri Lanka is a do or die. So we know that this game, we're going to see Sri Lanka give it everything because they know this is their last chance.
Yeah, and I think, if it doesn't go their way, it's going to be a very, very frustrating for them. Because you see the way they played against India, England as well, the way they played the first phase. Looking at all that, it just kind of builds. So from that point of view, it's going to be a very uphill task, because all those emotions are gonna be there right now in that dressing room, which they'll have to deal with. How do you get rid of that? Is maybe Pathun Nissanka right now, walking out there, making use of the power play, creating that impact, and suddenly you say, okay, 168. If you score, say, 45, 50 runs in the power play, without losing a wicket, or maybe losing just one or two. That's what is going to be the ideal start for Sri Lanka right now, if they have to turn things around in this game.
Zach is saying 45-50, Rohan. It's just that they're so dependent on that top three, because we've seen what Nissanka has done, but it's almost like an interesting storybook, the first 3 chapters, then it goes nowhere for Sri Lanka. So they have to do something about it.
But again, what Zach said was very key, is that you've got to go hard in the power play. And with the power play, I mean, seeing what the pitch has behaved like in the first 20 overs, you know that there will be 12 overs of spin from New Zealand. So you've got to go hard against the quicker bowlers. So those 8 overs of medium paces, whenever they come out, you'll hopefully, I mean, you're expecting to see, some medium pace in the power play. So you've got to go hard against those. You've got to pick your bowlers. And once you've got off to that start, you can sort of, pace your innings accordingly. But you have to take that risk against the quicker bowlers that New Zealand have, because it will be tougher against the spinners from what we've seen and how the pitch has behaved in the first 20 overs.
Zach, Rohan, congratulations to both of you, because you'll have won the last prediction game. I lost by that one run, but the big news more than our prediction game is Nissanka is out. He's clean bowled on the first ball. Matt Henry gets him on the first ball. So quickly, your guesses then for the power play.
I'm going to stick with 44.
I am going to go with 42.
44, 42. I was going to go much higher, but with the news of Nissanka, that has to be recalibrated. I am going to go with 46. We'll stick close by. We'll stick close by. All
hopefully all of us can...
Hopefully all of us win. We play like a team, and hopefully we all win. That's all we have time for right now. We will be back at the 10 over point at the Cricbuzz Combox. We'll see you all there.